Hey, how you doing? I'm Corey Hunter and we back at 7 Studios, and what we're gonna do is dive into another episode of Kendra. And the reason I wanted to focus on the web series that I filmed is because I want you to know that you can film a series by yourself, but not only that, but a lot of people shy away from their early work because they're not happy with it. But by looking back at your old work, you see the improvements and you see why you made those improvements. So really, I just want you to see the old work so that you can appreciate the new work. So you can know that just because you're filming at a certain level right now don't mean that you're not going to eventually improve. Because improvements come little by little. So it's really just an inspiration thing, just to encourage you and just to remind myself of the do's and don'ts of filmmaking. So I noticed in the first episode when I opened up, it was like a long take. And I wasn't really happy about it. It took me a while to catch on because, the first time I'm watching it and when I wrote it, what I'm looking at is the words. And then I tried to look at it from a regular audience point of view. And I started to realize that it might seem a bit boring. Yes, it's rolling and it's on her face and we're catching her expressions because, that's my thing. Just jam the camera, jam the frame right in the face. But, and I see that it probably wasn't engaging to the normal audience viewer because it was stagnant. Nothing was really happening. Now, the words might engage you, but the visuals weren't. And in film, you want the visuals and the audio to capture the audience attention. And so here, I did a little pan. Just to switch it up a little bit. And just that small movement, just the camera on the tripod and me just moving the tripod smoothly. Just that smooth little pan made a major difference. It gave it a certain energy that the other shot didn't have. I know with this episode though, what I suffered with was once again latitude. That is finding that balance between the dark and bright spots in the frame, in the footage. One thing that I didn't do that I should have did, but I didn't do it because we was pressed for time, and at the time, I much rather get all the footage and just try to fix it and edit in, which isn't the best thing to do. The more you learn, the easier it is to fix problems and the faster you move. What I should have did was block out the windows. I should have blocked out the windows and then I can improve my lighting from there. But because I didn't block out the windows, I was allowing the sun to blast in, and the sun wasn't being reliable that day. It would go from bright to shady, and it gave me crazy footage, right? And not only that, but also the clothing that my actors was wearing. Kendra was wearing black, and Xavier was wearing white. And Xavier was sitting right next to the window, and so when the sun was shining in on him, it was making him overexposed. His shirt was overexposed. So in trying to correct that, at the time, I've noticed it. So I was trying to fix the camera settings so that we can get him sharp in frame, but by trying to balance him out, it kind of made her way darker because she was wearing black. So now her hoodie and the couch is black, and oh man, it got crazy. The latitude was everywhere in this episode, so I definitely learned from that. Also with this episode, I did learn a little bit more about audios. At this point, I was putting the audio a little closer to them. So in this episode compared to the last episode, which is the first episode, the audio got much better. So there you go. You know what I'm saying? The more you film, the better you become. The audio was definitely a major improvement this time around. But the visuals suffered a little bit more. However, the angles were better in this episode, and I did notice that. The energy was better as well too. Because the more you work with your actors, the better the energy is going to become. It's just a natural thing. And the better the actors are with each other. So my actors came in, they busted out, and yeah, we was out here. Now, in terms of themes, this episode, I really wanted to focus on this new character I introduced, who was Gregory. Gregory is played by Trey Nostalgia, and in the first episode, we were introduced to both Kendra and Xavier. So this time we introducing the third actor. So this was the first time we had 3 actors in the same room, bouncing their energy off each other. So that chemistry was great, and I wanted to focus on that. So because Kendra is the main character and Trey is the character I wanted to introduce, I wanted these two characters to merge. With that said, when she sit down with Xavier, it's like Kendra gets to like bounce her ideas off of him. You get me? So they playing with the idea of can guys and girls be friends, and that's pretty much what's the theme of this entire episode. Because I wanted to structure this like a sitcom. I wanted the beginning, middle, and end, and it's structured exactly like that. When the episode begins, that's the beginning. It's Kendra and Gregory. Then when they sit on the couch, it's Kendra and Xavier, and then they get to speak about the main theme of this episode. And then once again, when Kendra and Gregory meets once again, they get to bring that resolution, which is bringing closure to that whole conversation she just had with Xavier. So we got beginning, middle, and end, all right? And we do it all within like 10 minutes because that's what we want to do. We want to get straight to the point. Because I realized in writing my scripts, I have a tendency to like rant. I could keep going and going and going. I could easily make this a 20 half an hour episode. So to minimize it, I'll bring it all down to just 10 pages and we rocked out. Now with that said, yeah, there could have been a little bit more energy, but like I said, when you're pressed for time, I was just trying to catch all the footage. You get me? So I was trying to knock out all the dialogue. And because I was trying to knock out all the dialogue and I was trying to make sure that the actors was hitting all the proper marks, some of the energy had to be sacrificed. So with that said, yeah, I learned my lesson, all right? So just to recap, latitude is a thing. We definitely have to figure out latitude. That is the balance between light and dark, because you lose detail. When everything is too dark, everything just becomes black, and when everything becomes too bright, everything just becomes white, and you lose detail, and you can't recover that detail. So make sure your latitude is on point. The sound improved here, which is a plus, yeah, but it's also in terms of your angles and what you're shooting. Like I said, I was really trying to focus on their chemistry and the actors. So I was trying to get them to carry the entire episode, which they did. But because I was doing that, I lacked on some angles. And also because it was a one-man band when I was shooting those episodes. So what you want to remember is sometimes you got to make sacrifices. And the sacrifice was pretty much, do I want to catch more angles and more shots, or do I want to knock this all out in one day as opposed to having it drag on? And the reason I didn't want it to drag on is because I structured these episodes to be shot within one day, within a few hours. And the reason I structured it that way is because bringing everybody back to shoot the same scene is always a pain in the ass, because something always tend to change. If my actor have a beard, the next time he come to set, whether it's 1 or 2 days, all of a sudden he done shaved his beard, and all of a sudden we got continuity issues. With ladies, they tend to change their hair, and then all of a sudden we got continuity issues. Or I get the actors to come back and they not wearing the same clothes. Once again, we got continuity issues. I did not want to go through the whole process of trying to avoid continuity, because at that time it wasn't worth it. At that time I was starving just to knock out these episodes, and I went gun-ho on it. So I made sacrifices so that we can catch them all within that one day, within those few hours, because we only have 4 hours. So I wanted to catch everything within one sitting, and that's pretty much what it is. And this is what we had. Kendra episode 2. Which came out good because the energy was good. And yeah, that's all I got for you today. So next time we're going to jump on episode 3 and we continue the process of learning how to film. And holla at me, you know what I'm saying? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Karane Mori in the building. Yeah. 7 Studios. We out here, and until next time.
So you mean to tell me that our friendship has been based on this fraud?
Nah, it's not.
So you're just saying when we're together, you only want one thing. It's fine.
I can't disagree with that.
So everything that you've done for me, it was not genuine.
I mean, at least I've done things, but you haven't done anything for me.
I'll let you spend time with me, and that is a privilege.
Yo, I'm gonna just act like I didn't just say that. Listen, you friends on me. I didn't ask to be in the zone, so.
I mean, you didn't voice otherwise.